is a residential new installation. Well, they're not too bad. Too many, you will get complaints. Yeah. Especially if there's a plane out open or something. Filter flies.
So I would have preferred 1,500 just to give a little bit, a true 1,000 gallons solid. So it would have been nice, but that's what the engineers, when they designed all this, called out. So we have what's called a Coburg package that the contractors put in, and it's got the tank, it's got the panel, pump, everything from Orenco, and then the local William Greystone provides the tank and that package generally.
It's a poly tank?
This is a concrete tank.
Okay, wow.
So, but I understand we do have, we do accept poly tanks if we had to, but we just never had anybody put any in.
Gotcha.
So, preventative maintenance wise, if your operators are doing preventative maintenance, the pumps should last 10 to 15 years. Now, they have to pull the pumps, they have to look at the impellers, they have to do, there's a stack in there. If the stack gets hair in there, it could plug up the orifices. So, if we would have had a little bit more time, we would have showed you our clean and dirty side in the blower room, where we have pumps over here and pumps over here. So if something goes bad, we drop a new one in or a clean one, and then we take that one back and we do the preventative maintenance on it like that.
And I'm sure you guys are going to go over a lot of the bread and butter of Orenco. That's the nice thing with Orenco and the partnership there is that we can order new stacks whenever we need them, and we can actually take them apart, put a new one in, and all of the trucks we keep at least one liquid in for residential and commercial on all the trucks, so that we can just make it seamless. If we have a problem with the pump, we can just pop it apart, put it back together, put it back in, and it's running. So
That takes 15, 20 minutes?
yeah, the most time you'll see on maintenance is about an hour on maintenances, and then you run into problems. I mean, a float change out, a good operator, probably about 15, 20 minutes, they can change out a float, change out a pump, things like that. They work pretty simple. So
One of the things I will say is that's for us. Now, in Oregon, in California, I have no idea what the state says operators can do and what they can't do. They might have to be a licensed electrician to even get inside the panel. I have no idea. So one of the things you want to think about when you're going through the hiring process, you want to make sure that engineer has gone through all the requirements that it would take for somebody to operate your facility. Ours is our treatment plant's a level 3, and our collection system is a level 2. California, I think, their levels are a little bit higher. So if Ty was going to California as a level 2 operator here, he might have to get a level 3 operator's license there. So it's a little different.
another regulation to look into would be, I know OSHA, we've had them out to actually do this, confined space. So technically sometimes breaking that plane, reaching down in there is considered confined space depending on your regulators. So
Frequency of inspections.
Great question. We can talk about that now, or we can talk about it at lunch.
We can
At lunch? Okay. I thought you would say that. So this is a residential.
You have a commercial?
yep, we can look at
Commercial's right over there.
here.
Awesome.
So on the one thing on these panels you'll see, so right now, like I said, this one's actually low level, so we've got this blasting at us.
basically
The big thing that we
So
put
there's
on
no,
all of our panels
we have no
is our
gravity.
So all of these have that. We've been locking all of our panels before we just had little tags on them. Now we lock them because we've had too many people get into them and help themselves to seeing what's going on in there. Or we've actually made it where people try to tie in an outlet into it. Try to use it as a circuit to put an outlet below it.
And that be a SCADA is talking to the plant?
No, these are all just separate individual panels that they alarm
all part of
locally.
this-
and yeah,
this part of it?
for this one system.
This element.
So,
And you put a residential on this one just because the flows are going to be.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah. This is.
Oh, you already got
it?
Okay, they're getting something. Don't worry about the reason. Restaurant area, an auto crane with a magnet to lift lids will save you, the possibility of saving on your insurance if you need.
So why did they locate this tank here instead of out of the right of way, kind of?
Well, it is out of the right of way. The right of way is right.
Okay. So
how large is this
balance
one?
this off and not have to have a traffic rating
I believe it is.
installation.
That is possible.
Yeah.
Location of tanks is important. We don't like to see these things get placed in right of ways, but we have had that happen because of constraint. We'll talk about that when we go over and eat lunch. I'll probably do a lot of talking while you guys are eating. Try and fill in the gaps. I know I'm going to forget something because we're off.
Was this an existing?
No, this is a.
Why is it so deep? Just out of curiosity.
Probably just the contractor and they put in elevations.
Okay.
They probably abandoned the old tank and
this
probably
a-
had to
is
meet
this a
elevations
restaurant?
of that
Yes.
existing
How large
grade.
is the grease?
That's a great question. I don't know. It's probably an under the sink, maybe a 30
Yeah,
gallon.
he has an under sink, I believe, for this unit. He owns this restaurant and the other restaurant.
Do you have any fog problems?
We do.
We have had
Why
that
don't
issue.
you require larger grease?
Well,
interceptors?
that's a.
It's an ordinance.
This is called. Even though
ordinance
we're
issue.
9 years into things, we still have some growing pains.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
So, one of the things in our ordinance is that on commercials we give them one pump a year. So we will pump the tank once a year, unless there's a problem on our end. Then we obviously will take care of it. But if it's a fog problem, it's on the property owner to have the tank cleaned.
And the fog mixes with,
It does.
so you get a mat of,
You will. Yep.
you get the paper mache mat.
Yeah, you'll get that. You'll get grease buildup there, and you'll see it a lot on the filters and floats.
Yeah,
You'll get a grease buildup on the floats.
Yeah.
You'll get the filter, that biofilter in there will get so clogged up that it stops pumping.
yeah.
So
So you
we know when it has an issue.
you
'Cause-
need better grease interceptor.
yeah.
So
Yes.
you have a grease interceptor under the sink. Can you have another grease interceptor in these?
Yeah,
Before.
yes.
Before,
so
yeah.
if it requires, if it is a, what our city council and our city administrator is all about is working with the community. And when I say that, we try and not put too much on them, but when it becomes a real issue, then that's I'm trying to
You got to do.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So there has been some enforcement in the past. Anything new construction, like they're getting ready to put another restaurant in just down the way. They will have a grease interceptor before the step system. So new construction that is but anything that was pre-existing, the one across the street, that one, it's very difficult because it's always got grease in it. This one has been maintained quite well, and he's the owner of both of them. So, sometimes it's just the message that you send them. I think the last time he had to pump it, I think that resonated with him.
And some of it's based on employees too.
Over there, to
30s.
30 gallon.
So two pumps, basically they alternate or recycle so they get equal duty. And then if there's ever a problem with the pump, the business doesn't have to shut down, right?
We do have this.
So the residential tanks just use a single pump. The idea there is that the tank has reserve capacity, about 24 hours of normal usage before an operator needs to come and make a repair.
That's all the tanks in town are designed for 24-hour capacity. So the reason for that, one of the big reasons is because if the power goes out, we can still provide them water. But they don't have any when the power's out. So we had to have that as part of our design, was to actually
the restaurant flow. It just depends on how busy they are. This one might see a little bit more flow than in the past. It used to be a cafe. Used to be
Yeah, wait, then it was another little restaurant.
a Mexican restaurant.
Should we go eat rather than?
And now it's
I'm gonna be a
it's
bill.
kind of